Hello everyone, I'm Sister Henema. In our today's video, we'll bring part 1 of the most noble word mentioned in the Bible, the word friend. It is mentioned several times by many people, but especially by Jesus, our very best friend. As we saw in our introduction last week, because of the way this event happened, our topic was called as high value. And the intention of this topic is just to highlight that this high value that Christ gives us is much higher than our lack of merit or dignity. Because regardless what we still are or how bad our past was, the value that he gives us is the same, yes, forever. His value for us makes no distinction. It does not treat us with discrimination. That is, it is a perfect high value that does not change even when we are not the best people in the world. So, as a base test, we will continue to use Matthew 26:50. And the original Greek of the New Testament brings us this test, as you see here, and we read: Rodé Jesus eipem autor, ἑταῖρε, έφυγο πάρει. Tot presiotonte pebalontas heiras, epiton Iesun kai ekretesan auton. As I said before, during our introduction, it is a very beautiful, powerful, and deep reference. But to be more familiar with all its context, we will go to English, and this verse says more or less the same thing. And Jesus said to him, "Do what you came for, friend." Then the man stepped forward, seized Jesus, and arrested him. So the main question is very here in the very middle of the first sentence in this verse 50, right? The very here in English corresponds to this part. But I will come back to the same question now, calling it central part of the test, which is the same question. ἑταῖρε, έφυγο πάρει. Friend, what are you coming for? And by the way, we will see this question in different ways depending of the version you are using. Here is, what are you coming for? In other, maybe it will be why you are here, or what you are present. Different ways, but always refer to the same ἑταῖρε, έφυγο πάρει. So before we go to the theological side of this question, I would like first to go to a very simple, brief observation in the grammar, the Greek grammar. So I like to work with grammar because it teaches me the root of the word. It also helps me to work better with the grammar rules, which is necessary in particular if you work with a different language. So in this case, what I want to show you is this question does not show here at the end the question mark in Greek. In Greek, the question mark is the same semicolon in English. I mean, if here at the end of the sentence we see a semicolon in English, it corresponds to a question mark in Greek. In this case, we don't see the symbol here at the end, but it is a question. How can we understand it? The thing is, this little letter here in this sentence, which in this case represents a word which is who, it is nothing less than a relative pronoun, which in this context works as a interrogative pronoun. Who, in this case, is used as an interrogative word that is often used to express interrogation or questions. In this case, who takes the place of why or for what, because it is the emphasis of the question, brings the emphasis of the question. So because this who, which means why or for what, we have here a question. The previous word F is a preposition which means the goal or purpose or the reason why something happens. In this case, the event we are starting to talk right now between Jesus and Judas Iscariot. The last word here is the verb pare, which means or denotes to come or to be present. It's an important verb because it is the action of the sentence. And the first one is heder, our main word, which is from the beginning, a special friend or best friend. So just to explain how you replace the emphasis of the question mark, just to say you we have a question, even if you don't see the semicolon in English, which represent question mark in Greek. So now, as I said last week during our introduction, our topic is divided in three parts. The first part, part 1, corresponds to today. And today we'll work with some analytical questions. And then we'll start with some important definitions and differences between the two most important words in Greek, which means or refer to friends. In this case, the first is Philos, which is common friend, as we saw in our introduction, and the second is ἑταῖρε, which means a special friend or best friend, which is the main word for today. Also, we have two simple analytical questions, as I said before. The first is, why did Jesus call Judas Iscariot his special friend when he was not even a common friend? It is a good question and a good thing to think. We will answer this question today. And the next analytical question is in this context, what does this word ἑταῖρε mean? Why ἑταῖρε? Because this is the word Jesus used to ask Judas Iscariot, friend, why did you come? Why are you here? So we'll put all our emphasis today in this word. So next week, after this part 1, will come part 2. We'll work with some key words, key questions. And then one of the most common we'll repeat sometimes is who was Judas Iscariot? This point here will point some to his past before he became a disciple of Jesus. And when we talk about him, we will mention his profession, also talk about his character before he became a disciple. And when we talk about his character, we will mention something about his habits, in particular his bad habits, because what he did on that time, betraying Jesus, has so much relation with his past, his bad habits relating to his character. Also, we talk about his past, just because if you talk about his character, before becoming a disciple, we'll talk about his past, and then we'll talk about the plan. And the plan here is the plan he made while betraying Jesus. For example, about the plan, we'll talk about the authorities with whom he negotiated the price of Jesus. You remember the price, right? 30 silver coins. the price. We'll talk about these authorities he negotiated with about the price of Jesus and who were they, these authorities. Also, we'll talk about the guards of the police, the people who arrested Jesus. Also, we'll talk about the place where he would make all the situation happen. And also, we'll talk about the sign of betrayal, the kiss he gave in Jesus. Would that sign have any symbolism? We don't know. We'll try to learn about this next week. In the last part will be part 3. In this part, we talk about the final moments of Judas Iscariot. What was Judas' response to Jesus? When Jesus asked the friend, why you are here, why you came, a question like this, Judas say something back to Jesus. What do you think? I think he did. Maybe not by words, but he gave Jesus an answer for his question. Also, what did Judas think? What he was thinking while Jesus asked him the question he asked. Also, which kind of a feeling he had, why he made that kind of decision. He also talked about his final consequences, his life, which was also his fatal consequence. What does this example teach us? Have there in this situation, this example, something we can learn from? We will see all these things next week. So now we'll start with the difference between the two most important words in Greek relating to friends. And the first, as I mentioned before in part 1, is Philos. Philos is a very beautiful word, and as we see, to begin with, it means common friend. When I think about a common friend, I think about something very positive. To be a friend always is a good thing. To be right, to have a friend is even much better. But the thing is, a common friend, even if he is positive, even if he is nice, even if it is something sweet, the thing is, anyone can be this type of friend. Anyone can become a Philos. Why? Because there is a difference between Philos and ἑταῖρε. If from now we'll see Jesus took his best expression, best word relating to friend to talk with Judas Iscariot. And to understand this high concept of ἑταῖρε, which was the word Jesus used for Judas Iscariot, we needed to make a comparison between these two terminology. So in this case, according to the most common dictionaries, I found that Philos is buddy, friendly, someone fraternal, a comrade, colleague, the one who loves or a lover. It is a good concept. I love this concept here. Someone who loves is a very nice thing. And this word Philos comes from the indicative phileo, which is literally I love, and the infinitive philein, which is to love. So I mention here just to show you that this word friend has a very important grammatical root. Comes from the indicative, which is literally I love, as you see here, and the infinitive philein, to love, is an important word. But as I say 1 minute ago, it is something that anyone can become. Anyone can be a Philos, can be a buddy, a friendly person, fraternal, comrade, colleague, is someone who loves anyone can become. Now, which is the difference with the word God that Jesus used to talk with Judas Iscariot? heder. As we know already, it is a special friend. In other translation, we also can see or find heder as a best friend. So according to the most common dictionaries, it is also body and a someone who can become equal to you, a equal friend. This kind of a friend, which is heder, is someone who presents all these nice qualities or attributes. For example, is someone who can equalize with you, combine with you, can coincide with you, as someone like you. When I see each one of these qualities, I see like a kind of a hard work, someone special like heder does to reach someone else's level. As I mentioned here, someone like you or someone who can get your level, just to be together with you, just to reach you in your high. If you are too high, this heder is too low, this heder will work so hard until to get your level. If it's the opposite, this heder will work so hard until to be exactly your level. Because heder is someone who always wants to work like you, to walk with you, to be together with you, as you see now in the next qualities. But all these qualities here show me the hard work, which even include renounce, sacrifice, and very hard work with the idea to get closer to you and until to get the same level to be able to walk together. It is a very important thing to observe. As we see, we know already is a special friend. A heder denotes someone who walks close, someone who knows you very well, as one of your own. When I say this expression, one of your own, I am trying to say is someone from our group, someone from our team, someone someone with who you can count immediately when you need, no matter the time, no matter the circumstance. As someone you know you are very sure as part of your team, probably never will be different. Someone with you can come very close, you have a kind of a very intimate communion or relationship. The meaning here is you can, as someone with who you can talk your confidences, your secrets, your very personal things. You can develop a very intimate relationship to this point, to say your very personal things and your confidence without any problem. As someone nearby, close to you, right? And as someone which can even become similar, as someone we can consider practitioner of the same practice, someone who likes, who adapts him or herself to work together with you in the same kind of practice or work or activities, someone ideal, immediately assistant, I mean someone you can count with no matter the circumstance, immediately, no matter the time. As a partner, someone with you can share not just responsibilities and obligations, but also some enjoyment, and also some problems, concerns, afflictions, needs. Someone with you can share anything which is part of our life, and who is always present, even if හෙταῖρε is not physically there, is present because you have this security, the very deep security. This person is your friend, your very true and special friend. So if you observe all these qualities, all these attributes, you will see that හෙταῖρε is someone really special, is not a common person. He is not someone we can find, we can see each corner of our lives. Is someone very special. And to become a හෙταῖρε, God needs to work in us very deep, because by ourselves, these qualities are so high, so deep, so strong, so excellent. They cannot come from us only. God needs to help us to climb to this high level until to become a හෙταῖρε, a special friend. And as we saw in our introduction, හෙταῖρε is also a friend of our hearts, friend of our soul, very special friend. And the main point here is Jesus used this word, this very noble and special terminology to talk to Judas Iscariot. Remember, Judas was not friend anymore. He was not faithful anymore. He was not a good company even. But Jesus looked at him and said, "You, my best friend, why did you come?" So it is a very thing important to think from now. So also, friend, with this connotation of හෙταῖρε, also comes from the Hebrew of the Old Testament. In Hebrew, we have different words or different terminologies to express the word of the translation friend. Here I just take one, which is the most important for me right now, and it is the word he. So always reading from the right to the left, he is literally a personal friend. It is a very important definition from me, from Hebrew. Is a very personal friend. Is a friend of confidences. That is someone close, or someone who is close of us. He is someone who loves all the time, as Proverbs 17:17 says. Now I bring Proverbs because we are in Hebrew, right? Of the Old Testament, and Proverbs is part of the Old Testament. This reference we read here, love all the time, no matter the circumstances, the difficulties, the differences. This friend he loves all the time. And this word is so important to the point to appear in the Old Testament Hebrew more than 180 times. Two important words. So now my very first analytical question here is, why did Jesus call Judas Iscariot හෙταῖρε? Why? There is any reason, because honestly, if it was me, I don't know if I was really willing to call someone like Judas Iscariot a special friend. I don't know if my mentality maybe is really different. As a human people, it probably is not our first option, but Jesus did. And why? We will see some reasons here together. For example, I believe he called Judas Iscariot as a special friend just to show him the high value that Jesus gave him. No matter what Judas was planning and doing, Jesus didn't change his love for this poor man. I believe really Judas was completely blind, completely confused, to the point that he had forgot the great love of his master Jesus for him. And do you know, guys, sometimes our sins, our flesh, e our constante disobedience makes us lose the understanding of how much God loves us. And Jesus, in this circumstance, Judas Iscariot was there just to remind him how high his love, Jesus' love, was for Judas Iscariot. How much God was loving him, and Jesus was expressing it no matter he was planning and doing against Jesus. Jesus continued to love him in a very high level of love, as is our topic in this morning. I believe, honestly, something, when we forget how much God loves us, then in this point, our big problem starts. This is just my simple opinion. Also, I believe why Jesus called Judas Iscariot as හෙταῖρε, so that Judas would recognize his own value. This is my second opinion. First, because Jesus was showing him how much he continued to love him. Second, Judas was forgotten how important he was as a person. I believe his blindness was such that he had even lost the idea of his own personal value. In the present situation he was creating, and also he lost the importance of the whole vision about his eternity. Judas did not care anymore about his eternity when he was working this plan he was making or doing against Jesus to betray him. He lost completely the idea of his own eternity, the idea of the eternity of his soul. And Jesus was there to give him one last chance, one last opportunity to remind him that an eternity without God or separate of God is not a good idea. To go to the eternity apart of God is the worst decision someone can do for him or herself. And Jesus was there to help him, to remind about this very important detail. So if you observe, we have here a sequence. In the first, he forgot how much Jesus loved him. Because he forgot this very important point, he jumped to the next very important point too. He forgot his own value, the value of his soul, and to the point that he almost preferred to go to an eternity without God. It was the sequence. And we need to carry to not get the same point, to forget our God and forget our eternity. Not just our own personal value as a person, but also our eternity. It is something very important. Even Jesus paid the price for us to never forget. We can get a better eternity, a very blessed eternity with him. Also, I think why Jesus called Judas Iscariot as හෙταῖρε, to show him that Jesus did not reject him despite his betrayal. So, also to help Judas see that the value he placed on Jesus was not the same value that Jesus placed on him. How can you explain this? Remember, during our introduction, we saw for Judas Iscariot, the value of Jesus was just 30 silver coins. For Jesus, the value he was trying to show yet for Judas was the most noble word, හෙταῖρε, my very best special friend. Different value. So for this, I believe Jesus was showing him he was not rejected despite what he was doing. E also, I believe the word heder is the sweetest, noblest, and most loving expression that can be given to a traitor, to someone like Judas Iscariot. So this is a very important topic to observe. Why? Because the same love system, I will say like this, love system, I don't think Jesus or lived his relationship with us by system, but I just try to organize my ideas. They say this system of love is still the same, even today, when him, our best friend Jesus, uses the same kind of love for us, for each one of us today. Even I remember the reference in 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 13 says, but if we are unfaithful, he remains faithful, for he cannot deny himself. God cannot deny himself, even if we are unfaithful. He never will do, because he loves, never will fail, never will break, never will disappear when you make a mistake. And God always gives us the opportunity to reflect on the wrong we are doing, and the opportunity he gives us to return, especially since in many cases it is our last opportunity, like Judas Iscariot. He went to an eternity probably without God. God does not desire this situation for no one anymore. For this, in God, we always have one other opportunity, in particular if it is our last chance. Remember that we call this topic we are talking about as high value, because this message from Jesus is to all the humanity, all the world, and it reveals his high value he places in all type of sinners, inner people, including us today. For this reason, I believe the sweetest, noblest, and more loving expression of love was not just only for Judas Iscariot, but is also for us today. So my personal conclusion from this first part, based in our question, heder, πάρει, friend, what are you coming for? Is something in which you need to stop and think seriously. If today you heard this question, friend or my friend, why are you here? Or why are you hanging out with me? Or why or what are you coming for? What would we say in response? Or would we also become confused as Judas did? I thought there are many Judases out there lying, slandering, killing, robbing, and loving their own sin. It is not God's desire for you or for me. It's not his desire for us to follow this kind of bad example Judas Iscariot gave us from that time. So let us watch our steps, our words, our reactions, our thoughts, our feelings, e in particular our decisions, especially those decisions called final decisions that will mark our lives and our eternity forever, like with Judas Iscariot. May we all learn something new from this terrible mistake with this man. My final question here after this simple discussion is, Are you friends of God? And if we are his friends, which kind of friend we are? Yeah, I highlighted here the word kind, because we know there are so many kinds, so many types of friends. Which type, which kind of friends we are today? And we know in the Bible, in the Old Testament, we have a very special example. This man was Abraham. And the verse in James 2:23 says, and Abraham believed in God, and it was counted to him as righteousness. And he was called the friend of God. It is a very, very special relationship, right? But for me, it became even more special when yesterday I found this reference here in Genesis 18:17. Then the Lord said to himself, can I hide anything from my friend Abraham? I never stopped really to think about this until when I came to the stop. God talked and said, can I hide something from my friend Abraham? The relationship of them were so true, so strong, so deep, so well connected. To the point, God, the same God said, I cannot hide something from my friend. Wow, this word make me really think. Is our relationship with Christ the same, or has the same direction, the same consistency that Abraham had with our powerful God? This is a very deep and extremely important question to ask, at least for me. I don't know about you, but I hope one day in my life I can discover, I can understand, I can see that I have reached already this level of relationship with God and be called by his friend. This is my deepest desire. And yours? Which is your desire when you think about this important relationship? So I pray that this topic brings us a new vision of a more complete and intimate relationship with our very much special friend, Jesus Christ. So then after this precious time, I really wanted to see you next week with part 2 of your stop. Okay? Then see you there. Bye bye.